essay by Immanuel Kant called the Project for Perpetual Peace, in which he called for a European Diet, by which he meant a parliament. There have been many other routes suggested, reform of the United Nations. In recent years, George Monbiot has talked about having a world parliament. We have these thousands of people who gather every time there's a G7 meeting, the social forum people. And if you've ever been to their meetings, they're terrifically well-meaning, they know exactly what they're against, what they want to condemn. They have no idea what they're in favour of. They don't have a solution. I want to talk about a particular route, because again, John reminded me of 3 Oxford undergraduates in their 20s who were working in London in 1938. They were absolutely horrified by Munich. They thought, we've got to do something to stop the world drifting into war, we've got to come up with something better. They didn't know what to do at the time, so they bought a beer barrel, and they invited 50 of their friends to come and drink the beer and talk about it, and they set up an organisation called Federal Union. Within 2 years, 1940, it had 10,000 members, 100 branches around the country, 100 members of Parliament, the Times newspaper, all sorts of people backing it. What they took on board was the basic idea that we have within nations law that stops us killing each other or punishes if we do. What we don't have is law between nations. We have anarchy between nations and the right to go on killing when we don't agree. And what you need is law between nations. And if you're going to have law, you've got to have people who make the law, so you've got to have democracy. So their proposal was that you need supranational democracy. They then started getting, as John is, into some of the details. What do we do about this? Some of them said we should try and go for a world federation of democracies. Some said a European federation. Some of them said Commonwealth. We're talking about 1938. And some said Atlantic, and there was an American writer, Clarence Strite, who talked about an Atlantic one, but they all talked about the union of democracies. That was the basic minimum ingredient. You had to have a democracies to start with. And I think they were right about that, because the European Union has shown if you set up on the basis of democracies, other people will join you and will become democratic in order to join you.